Hello everyone, it's me MUFTii and welcome to another tennis blog. So today we're going to be talking about the rivalry of the century, and obviously we're talking about the rivalry between Carlos Alcaraz and of course Jannik Sinner. So let's carry on and see how we do. So every era of tennis is defined by rivalry. We had Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal in one era, and in this one it belongs to Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. Their clashes have already taken on the weight of legend, a duel of fire and ice that feels destined to shape the sport for years to come. On one side we have Alcaraz, the electric showman who thrives on chaos and invention. On the other is Sinner, the unflinching technician who draws power from stillness and control. They've become each other's ultimate test, clashing on the biggest stages and forging what may be the rivalry of the century. So let's begin with Paris Masters 2021. It all began in Paris on the indoor courts of the 2021 Masters. 18-year-old Carlos Alcaraz faced the 20-year-old Jannik Sinner for the very first time. The opener was decided in a tense tie-break, Alcaraz blasting winners to take it 7-1. In the second, both held firm until Alcaraz broke Sinner at 5-5, sealing the set 7-5 and the match in straight sets. His fearless aggression outpaced Sinner's steady baseline control, and that clash of styles, the outline of a rivalry, was drawn, one destined to grow fiercer with every season. Then we turn to Wimbledon 2022. The rivalry stepped onto its first Grand Slam stage in the fourth round of Wimbledon. On grass, Sinner wasted no time asserting control, storming through the opening two sets with precise flat hitting 6-1, 6-4. Alcaraz fought back with trademark flair, saving match points and snatching the third in a tense 10-8 tiebreak. But Sinner held firm, breaking early in the fourth and closing it 6-3 to seal his place in the quarterfinals. It was a breakthrough moment. Under the weight of a major, Sinner proved he could absorb Alcaraz's firepower and deliver a decisive blow on his own. The next challenge became in the Croatia Open 2022. Just weeks after Wimbledon, the rivalry shifted to clay for their first final in UMAG. Alcaraz, the defending champion and early favourite, edged a tight opening set in a 7-5 tiebreak. But from there, the match flipped dramatically. Sinner broke early in the second and never let go, racing through the last two sets 6-1, 6-1, dismantling Alcaraz on the surface where he was most feared. It was more than a title, it was a statement. Sinner had shown he could not only challenge the great Alcaraz, but overwhelm him, no matter the surface or the stage. Next we move on to the US Open 2022. New York transformed the rivalry into legend. Under the lights of Arthur Ashe, Alcaraz and Sinner fought a quarterfinal that stretched past 2 in the morning. A 5-hour war of endurance and nerve. Alcaraz struck first 6-3 before Sinner clawed back, snatching the second in a tense tiebreak and dominating the third in a 7-0 breaker. With the match in his grip, Sinner served for victory at 5-4 in the fourth, even holding a match point, but Alcaraz refused to yield, breaking back, stealing the set 7-5 and surging through the fifth 6-3. When it ended after more than 5 hours, Alcaraz stood as the survivor, and days later the champion and youngest world number one in history. Yet the true triumph that night belonged to the actual rivalry itself, announced to the world in all its drama and fire. Then we move on to the encounter in Indian Wells 2023. The desert set the stage for the first clash of 2023. A semi-final brimming with tension. Sinner's steadiness pushed Alcaraz to the limit in the opening set, but the Spaniard seized the tiebreak 7-4 with a fearless hitting. From there, Alcaraz broke early in the second and never looked back, closing it 6-3 to strike first in their new season's rivalry. It was more than a victory, It was foreshadowing. The year all ahead promised bigger arenas, higher stakes, and battles that would stretch their victory into new territory. Then we move on to Miami 2023. Just 2 weeks after their desert battle, the rivalry shifted to the heat of Miami for another semi-final showdown. Alcaraz struck first, taking the opening set with a tense 7-4 tiebreak, but Sinner answered with calm precision, breaking through in the second 6-4 before surging ahead in the third 6-2 as Alcaraz faded under the pressure. It was another turn in the ever fast-growing saga, proof that for every blow Alcaraz could deliver, Sinner carried an answer sharp enough to swing the story back in his favour. Then we move to Beijing Open 2023. The final chapter of their 2023 season unfolded on the fast courts of Beijing. Another semi-final that felt worthy of a final. The opening set was a knife edge, but Sinner seized the tie-break 7-4, then shifted into another gear. With relentless depth and precision, he stormed through the second set 6-1, leaving Alcaraz little room to breathe. It was a commanding win, Sinner's first over a top 2 player, and a fitting close to their season battles, proof that every clash pushed both men to discover new limits. Next we move to the year of 2024, Indian Wells. A new season but the same battleground in the desert semi-finals. Sinner came out blazing, dismantling Alcaraz 6-1 in the opening set with flawless execution, but Alcaraz, already known for his grit, refused to fold. He reset, found his rhythm, and stormed back with fearless shot making to take the next 2 sets 6-3, 6-2. The victory snapped Sinner's 19 match-winning streak and reminded the tennis world why their rivalry captivates. Momentum swings wildly, and every duel is as much about mental resilience as raw talent. Next we move on to the French Open Grand Slam Roland Garros. The rivalry reached the clay of Roland Garros, and the stage delivered everything it promised. In the semi-finals, Sinner came out firing, breaking early and dictating with flat, punishing ground strokes to take the first set 6-2. Alcaraz answered the second, mixing in drop shots and net rushes to level the match. When Sinner surged again to grab the third set, the momentum seemed his, but Alcaraz refused to fade. With fearless shot making under pressure, he clawed through the fourth set and then ran away with the fifth, sealing a 2-6, 6-3, 3-6, 6-4, 6-3 victory after nearly 4 hours. It was another marathon carving into their rivalry, a test of endurance, nerve and brilliance, and it marked a shift from here on. Their battles would no longer be semi-finals, but finals fought at the very summit of the sport. Next we move on to Beijing Open in 2024. In Beijing's final, Alcaraz edged Sinner 6-7, 6-4, 7-6, showing grit under pressure and turning critical moments his way. The match ran 3 hours and 21 minutes, the longest final in China Open history. Can you imagine? It stretched Sinner's tie-break struggles and sealed Alcaraz's 4th win over him in 2024. Even in defeat, Sinner stood firm, strong. This rivalry had become less about wins and more about narrow margins and raw growth. Now we come on to the year of 2025, this year, beginning with French Open Roland Garros. In the 2025 Roland Garros final, Carlos Alcaraz staged a remarkable comeback to defeat Jannik Sinner 4-6, 6-7, 6-4, 7-6, 7-6. The match lasted 5 hours and 29 minutes, making it the longest men's singles final in French Open history. Alcaraz saved 3 championship points in the 4th set, becoming only the 3rd man in the Open era to win a Grand Slam final after serving match points. This victory marked his 5th Grand Slam title and solidified his status as a dominant force in men's tennis. For Sinner, it was a heartbreaking defeat despite his strong performance. He had opportunities to secure his first French Open title, but ultimately fell short in the decisive moments. The match highlighted the fine margins that define their rivalry and set the stage for future encounters between these 2 elite players. Next we turn to the All England Lawn Tennis Club at Wimbledon. Just weeks after his French Open tie-break, Sinner returned to the grass courts of Wimbledon with determination blazing in the final. Alcaraz struck first, taking the opening set 6-4, but Sinner steadied himself, breaking at key moments in each of the next 3 sets. He captured them all 6-4, 6-4, 6-4, claiming his first Wimbledon title. The match showcased Sinner's blend of calm precision and relentless pressure, turning his previous defeat into triumph. It was redemption on the sports' most hallowed lawns, proof that in his rivalry, every setback fuels the next battle. With the Grand Slam tally now open for 2025, their saga swung once again, 2 champions refusing to back down. Next we turn to the Cincinnati Open 2025. In the humid Ohio heat, fans expected another classic clash between Sinner and Alcaraz. The match began explosively with Alcaraz racing to a 5-0 lead in the first set, but Sinner, struggling with illness, could not continue and retired, leaving the contest unfinished. It was a rare anticlimax in a rivalry built on endurance and drama. A reminder that even the greatest are human. Yet, the abrupt ending only intensified the tension between them. With the US Open looming, the stage was set for another possible showdown, one that promised to reclaim the full glory and stakes of their epic saga. Next we move on to the US Open Grand Slam in 2025. Under the floodlights of Arthur Ashe Stadium, Carlos Alcaraz defeated Jannik Sinner 6-2, 3-6, 6-1, 6-4 to claim his second US Open title and 6th Grand Slam overall. Their victory also marked his return to the world #1 ranking. Alcaraz's performance included delivering double the number of winners compared to Sinner, showcasing his aggressive and precise play. The match was a testament to Alcaraz's resilience and skill as he overcame the defending champion in a high-stakes final, further solidifying his status as a dominant force in men's tennis. For Sinner, this defeat was a setback, but he continued to demonstrate his prowess throughout the season, making significant strides in his career. Their rivalry, highlighted by this intense US Open final, continues to captivate tennis fans worldwide, promising more thrilling encounters in the future, and of course at other future Master 1000s, Grand Slams, and of course at the end of the year at the ATP Finals. Anyway guys, that brings an end to the video log rivalry of the century, Alcaraz and Sinner, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace and take care. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video, and of course the MUFTii YT tennis channel for more tennis blogs from myself, and of course all these other MUFTii YT channels, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.